Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Ba'Hashem HaKadosh, and the more honors to the apostles and others, great Muslims. Salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I'm Noah Allah from Gemma, Chicago, and coming back with you with another lesson. And let's go into a quick lesson about my own personal testimony, but it's just, basically just catching hell, alright? And this is what we go through in this ministry, alright? This is what's part of the fight as well, is that you're going to catch hell. And understand that my situation is real light. My situation is real light compared to what the apostles and what the elders go through, alright? Because my situation, it ain't all that bad, but of course, kind of irks me a little bit. But hey, like again, this is what's part of the fight. All right, you're gonna go through trials and tribulations. You're gonna have issues with your health. All right, financial issues. Your car might break down and shit. All right. Your bitch might leave you. Your parents might kick you out of the crib, but hey, the scripture says, endure hardness as a good soldier, right? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that's what it's all about. We gotta keep continuing to strive for this truth, even unto the end. All right, despite the difficulties that we go through. But nonetheless, all right, with my situation, all right, I got into an accident. All right, it wasn't bad at all. All right, I saw, I was involved with an accident with another individual. Basically I crashed into her, and my car was in pretty bad condition. All right, well, it didn't look like it was in bad condition, but it was in bad condition. I saw my bumpers all dented and shit. I thought it was nothing. I thought, you could just pop those dents right out, right? Because hey, fixing a dent, you could do that at your home. Alright, you could do that on your own. We're using a plunger and shit, and we put boiling hot water on the dent. You just use a plunger and you just pop it back out. Right? But nonetheless, with my situation, alright, my car's bearings, my wheel alignment, and the way how I drive my car and I turn and move it is all messed up, basically. Yeah, it's all messed up. And had to get that repaired because it was not drivable. Alright, it was not drivable. So in total, it was a cost of $2,000. Alright, for the labor and the repair in total. Alright, my wheel popped. I had to pay for the wheels too. But hey, the water to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua that I'm safe. Alright, I didn't get injured during that crash. The crash wasn't shit. Alright, but hey, I really did lost a shit ton of money. But hey, I was glad to even have that money too, cause if I didn't have that, then my car wouldn't even gotten repaired, and I wouldn't have no transportation. But nonetheless, it doesn't really bother me anymore as much, right? Because hey, the apostles, the elders, all right, they go through a lot. All right, they've been here the longest. They go through a lot. They catch all kinds of hell. All right, and my situation was pretty light. Some of the bros, some of the elders, all right, the apostles, all right, some of them might not even have a car at all. All right, some brothers just don't even have they don't even have cars. All right, just some brothers in that situation. But hey, I'm thankful to even have one. All right, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua that I have a car. All right, transportation wise. But nonetheless, I decided to bring this up here. It says, "Hang in there, it gets worse," which is humorous. All right. I had a sticker. I was reading it and I'm looking at him like, say that shit's funny. Hang in there, it gets worse. You go into the meaning of it. It says, "Hang in there, it gets worse" is a dark human twist on the encouraging phrase "hang in there," meaning to persist through difficulties. All right, and yeah, in this ministry, we gotta persist through difficulties. You're going to catch hell. You're gonna go through these trials and tribulations. All right, it's only going to get worse. I mean, really, it gets worse, but the Lord is dealing with you. Or the Lord is chastising you so that He doesn't have to chastise you later. Alright? Persist, continue firmly or obstinately in an opinion or course of in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. That's right. Goes hand in hand with the scripture. Alright? Endure hardness as a good soldier. Alright? Means suffer something painful or difficult patiently. Alright, which patiently means suffering at the end of the day. Alright. 2 Timothy 2:3, therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua. No man that worth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. And hey, don't get tied up with these with the affairs of this life, because hey, yeah, you might lose a couple thousands of dollars and shit in a situation and all that crap, but hey, the prophecies are being made manifested. You're seeing that we're on the brink of World War III. Right, all hell's getting ready to break loose. Alright, Esau's about to implement the R50 microchip. Alright, we're heading into a cashless society. Alright, so keep those things in mind. Alright, because hey, as what the scripture says, no man that worth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, because what? The fashion of this world is fastly passing away. Alright? And hey, that's the good part about these scriptures, man. It really is the stability in the times that we're in. Wisdom is the stability of that. I don't get that. And wisdom and all shall be the stability of thy times, and strength and salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. That's right. This wisdom and knowledge is our stability in the times that we're coming into, even when we're catching hell. Because it reminds you that, hey, all the afflictions that you're going through at the end of the day, all the hell that you're catching is really just a light affliction at the end of the day. The Lord is about to bless us with something far more greater than what we're seeing here on this earth. All right, the Lord is about to bless us, 100-fold. All right, as long as we continue to endure, hey, Lord is about to change, giving us those new. The Lord is about to give us a whole lot more than we can even imagine. All right, all this shit here, all these people, trying to seek to buy a house, trying to make it in life. All right, trying to get a fancy ass new car and shit. All that shit is about to be burnt up, cause hey, this world is a temporal world. All right, everything here is temporary. All right. And hey, in this truth, you're supposed to be catching hell. Alright? Things are gonna happen. And hey, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You're getting chastised now, so you don't have to be chastised later. Because hey, if you get chastised later, hey man, it's scary. You know. These people, they don't have the Lord. They don't have Yahweh Hashem Yahushai by their side. They're going to be brutally punished in the times that we're coming into right now. But here's Hebrews 12:7. It says, if ye endure chastening, Yahweh deal with you. Yahweh Hashem shall deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth? And wherefore all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. And there, we're partaking in Yahweh's suffering. Everything that Yahweh went through, we have to go through it too. And it's okay, because the Lord is having mercy on us. Alright, the Lord, puts us through trials and tribulations that we're able to bear through. Right? In my situation, I'd say it's pretty light. Right? Because I understand that we're coming into a cashless society, so losing $2,000 just like that doesn't really. But when you're seeing the prophecies being made manifested, we're on the brink of World War III. Right? U.S. and Iran tensions are escalating right now. Right? The dollar is crashing. The dollar is about to be useless. We're going into, people are not going to be using green paperbacks no more. All right? That paper and uplifting. All right? Just wanted to share my testimony. And hey, the apostles and others, all right, they go through much more hell than any of us younger brothers do. All right? Nonetheless, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Shalom.